before I get into any of my sales, I'd like to let you know what happened. So, and maybe this has happened to, I'm sure this has happened to others. One of the items that I sold was a football shirt. This shirt, I was wondering why it was taking a little bit longer than what I thought it would take. So I looked at the tracking and I noticed the tracking was coming back to me. Now this happened maybe 2 weeks ago or so. Don't quote me on it, but I noticed it was on its way back and I'm thinking, what the heck? So I get it back and it had on there, it was written on there, insufficient address. First off, I contacted the buyer and the buyer had mentioned that everything was fine with their address. There was no issue at all with their address. Contacted our post office and my postman had said that for the address I told him he didn't see why there was a problem with it. He did say though that in different areas sometimes they do things differently for whatever reason, but all it said on the package was insufficient address. He also said that it could have been the mailman too. So I don't know. The buyer said the place wasn't hard to find or anything like that. I don't know what the problem was. Long story short, the item did come back to me. Everything was exactly the same. I asked him if he wanted me to resend the item. He did. I sent it back out. I'm going to add in here, I did have to refund the buyer and he did repurchase the shirt, sent back out with no problems. Maybe you just want to try and send it back out again if that happens to you. Worked out. Nothing was changed, so I don't know what the issue was. It got there no problem the second time, so I'm not sure. If you get, just an FYI, if you get something that says insufficient address, check with the buyer, see what's up first, because it could be insufficient address. I called my post office. They couldn't even give me an answer on why. I like when my customers get their products on time, and when I seen it coming back to me, I'm like, oh, what's going on here? So the second thing that happened was I had a bundle. Actually, I think I had 2 bundle sales in one day. And the first person got hers, everything was okay. The second one that got hers, she sent me a message that one of the necklaces, on the back of the necklaces, they're new. They were new items. I'll show them to you, but they were new items. And one of the necklaces on the back of some of necklaces and jewelry, if you're a jewelry seller, you'll know this, but if you don't, some of the necklaces have a little piece of tape or a little kind of a package on the back that'll hold the chain in. Well, this particular bracelet or necklace had a little piece of tape over the chain, and I don't know if it happened when she took it off the tape or if it was under the tape and it was already broke, but anyway, the chain was broke. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not. A bundle return only happened to me one other time, and it was only an issue with one of the items. But if you sell a bundle on Poshmark, please don't quote me, but this is what my experience was when this has happened to me both times. If you sell a bundle listing on Poshmark and there's an issue with one of the items, whether it's not as described, it breaks, or some kind of issues you run into, in order to get a refund, the buyer has to send all the items back. So I let the buyer know this. I said, I'm sorry. I said, but in order for a refund to be issued, even though as sellers, we don't even have the money until the buyer gets the item, until they leave us feedback, and there's like a 3-day waiting period or something like that. But anyway, she was still interested. She still wanted the other items. She asked me if she was interested in keeping the other items. It was just the necklace that broke that she, wanted to return, which I would too. But I told her the policies that Poshmark had. What I said to her though was, now this, I'm not telling you to do this. This is what I did. because she wanted the items, and I didn't want her to have to go through. They literally cost me probably 10 cents for the 3 items. Now, I think she won the bundle for like $32 or $36. My profit would have been like 23. I probably paid about 15 cents, if that, for all 3 items. So I just told her, I said, why don't you send Poshmark a message and let them know that I said that you can keep the other items, not to return them. Refer them back to my message so they could see that I had said this. So anyway, she did. She thanked me. She was happy about it. But it was not a big loss to me at all. And I wanted her to be happy, so I just let her have the items. What happened, how Poshmark did this though, they just canceled the listing, so she wouldn't have to return them back to me. So Poshmark canceled the listing. I just let her keep the items. It was like, whatever, so be aware in the future that if you're new to selling on Poshmark and you sell something in a bundle, in my experience, they do have to send the whole bundle back to you. Now, I did see today, and it could work out, I guess, if there's some communication on parts in different ways. I don't know. And I'm not sure if this is on bundle listings. But I know that you can offer a partial refund and let them keep the item. But I'm not sure if this is on bundles. Because I know, in my experience, they were required to send the whole bundle back, and then Poshmark would issue the refund. So that's some of the things that I encountered the past 2 weeks or so on Poshmark. Not a big deal to me. She was happy about it. I was happy to do it. Sometimes you just do what you got to do. I didn't want her to have to go through sending everything back, and just for what? I could have resold them again. I also could have had her send them back, and she could have bought them again. Who cares? I try not to make any drama out of things, or I try to get any kind of issues settled with as soon as possible so I could just move on with my business. So let's get into some of these Poshmark sales. Not a lot. Poshmark, though, I do recommend, if you're not selling on Poshmark, I highly recommend doing it. I do get sales on there. I think I have like 3,000 and some listings on there. I had a couple a day. Sometimes I go days without not even listing on there. I do cross-list some of my listings. I'm trying to get more of them cross-listed. Yeah, so let's see what I sold on Poshmark. Sold this David Chira corsage wristlet. I did have this listed at $16. She really came down. $5. I came up to $7. She came down to $6. Not a big deal. It's not very expensive anyway. It only runs around $7 or $8. So, but since I had it on Poshmark, I marked the price up because they take, the fees and everything. But anyway, it sold for $6. Probably going to net a profit of $3.05 on that. These little golden books for $19, and there were 12 of them. They will net me a profit of $13.18. I got them for free from a daycare center. This wooden bead heart garland, this sold for $16. That'll give me a profit of $12.80. That was also in a jewelry lot, pennies on the dollar. I sold these apartment 9 earrings. These sold for $10. That'll net me a profit of $5.03. I sold these, I knew these would sell. I sold these Sienna Sky bicycle earrings. These sold for $9. That'll net me a profit of $4.03. I sold this vintage puka shell necklace. This had a little dolphin on it, really cute. Pennies on the dollar. Sold this for $17. That'll give me a profit of $11.58. I sold this bundle. This is a repeat buyer. She probably bought from me 3 or 4 times over the years. She purchased this kangaroo Australian opal stick pin and these Denell brown glass elephant earrings. That was a bundle. Sold them for 20 bucks and I earned $13.98. Again, pennies on the dollar. Also ordered this stone necklace. This sold for $8. $3.03. 5 or 10 cents paid for that. These +1 owl earrings, these sold for $9. Same buyer. My earnings are $4.03. This vintage hair clip, it had Paris written inside of it. Sold for $8. My earnings were $5.05. I sold these vintage gold tone door knocker earrings. They sold for $17. My earnings on that were $13.60. I sold these Betsy Johnson performance pants. These sold for $14. My profit on them was $9.03. I sold these fossil earrings. These sold for $14. My profit on them was $9. Bundle I was talking about at the beginning of the show, at the beginning of the video, $32. My profit would have been $23.58. I didn't make nothing on it. I just let her keep the other 2 pairs of earrings due to the bracelet there, or the necklace that had an issue that was broken. But anyway, and I sold this sequin cardigan that sold for $10 and the earnings were $7.05. This video, if you had any kind of issues with returns or anything like that, I don't do a whole lot on Poshmark. I do sell on there. I am active on there. I do share my closet a couple times a day. I'm not sharing it all the time or anything like that. I don't have anything set up to share them automatically. None of that. And I use Flip. It works for me. I do that to cross lists. So yeah, if you have any questions, I just thought I'd share those things with you. If you have any kind of issues or stuff that I ran into recently on Poshmark. So hopefully you enjoy this video. And if you haven't already, please like, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Take care.